And welcome back to another week of Beam City Sports here on 96.5 FM. This is your host, Tyler Texera, here again with fellow co-host Luke Mitchell. We got a lot to jump into today, Luke. What do you have to say about it?
I hope everybody had a good week. It's getting cooled off in Sacramento. I hope everybody's enjoying that. Great kickoff week for NFL, so I'm excited to get to the NFL stuff. But I hope everybody's doing good. Hope everybody's looking forward to this nice fall season.
Yeah, we missed a lot this past week ever since we had our last show. Like you said, the NFL season getting started.
Oh, yeah.
Baseball going on. It's almost October. Love that time of year for baseball. And some basketball news. Not too much going on there, but we're going to jump into all of that today. But before we do that, it is National Suicide Prevention Month, and if you know or someone is struggling, reach out, call or text the 988 Suicide or Crisis Lifeline. You are not alone. Help is available. All right, and let's jump into our topics today. First, we are going to go over the fan polls of each of the last two rankings we've done to see what, our fans think of some arguments we had in the past few weeks. Then we'll jump into our last rankings list, our top 10 centers. And then after that, we'll move on to the NFL week 1 updates. We'll talk some baseball, and then we'll close out the show. So we'll start off with the fan polls, though. With our small forward voting, I know you felt some type of way about this one. You had Brandon Ingram. I had DeMar DeRozan. And DeMar DeRozan got 60% of the votes, and Brandon Ingram got 40%. So I want to hear your thoughts on that,
Obviously, DeMar, great player. Obviously, jumped to one of my favorite players when he moved to Sacramento. Mm-hmm. But out of 35 votes, I feel like there's a little bit of bias coming out of Sacramento here with us being based in Sacramento. Mm-hmm. If we put Ingram and DeMar 1v1, I feel like Ingram wins that, 9 times out of 10.
Dang, that's a big...
Maybe not 9 times out of 10, but more than 50% of the time.
Yeah. So are you saying if the Kings traded for Brandon Ingram instead of DeRozan that, Ingram would have got more of the votes because most of our fans are,
Yes.
kind of biased Kings fans?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could definitely see that too. I personally would probably have Ingram higher on the list than DeRozan if the Kings got him, that bias somewhat comes into play with us, But
I don't want to throw shade on DeMar if he's listening. Yeah, I love you, DeMar.
Yeah, you said he's one of your favorites already. He hasn't even played a game yet in Sacramento. But he's already talked so well about Sacramento and just how excited he is to be here. So, couldn't ask for more than that. And he also predicted today that the Kings will make the Western Conference Finals. You saw that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's some big statements out of him.
Yeah.
Really excited to see what the Kings do with that. But the power forward polls that we had, I had Scotty Barnes and you had Jaren Jackson. This one was
a little bit closer.
Little closer. Scotty Barnes got 57% of the votes and Jaren Jackson got 43% of the votes. Even though Jaren Jackson, won Defensive Player of the Year 2 years ago, he's a very good shooter still from the big position. Scotty just, I don't know. I think he does a little more with the ball and like that. But what are your thoughts on that poll?
I feel like they're kind of even.
Yeah.
Not going to lie. I do like Jaren Jackson a little bit more. I feel like he's going to be stepping into a better position next year, just like with the team and just who he has around him.
I can agree with that.
Scotty, I feel like they're kind of on close to the same level of skill right now.
Yeah. If they flip situations, maybe Jaren's above him there because he has more. Yeah, I see what you're saying. So that was the last two polls that we've had. And now we will jump into our top 10 centers list in the NBA right now. There's a lot of guys on this list for me that were really hard to keep off.
It was pretty tough.
Yeah.
The last, the top 10 to 6 they're pretty tough for me to decide and where to put them.
I'm going to be curious to see what you do, where you went with this list, because it was really difficult for me, like you said, to, keep some of these guys off and put some of these guys up there just because of how good I already think they are, even if their stats don't show it.
Yep.
But so my number 10 might be surprising to you. It is Miles Turner as my number 10.
Okay.
He averaged 17 a game last year on 7 rebounds, 2 blocks, played in 77 games for them in Indiana, and he played very well in the playoffs as well. I just love Miles' game, and I want to see who your number 10 is.
I got Jonas Valanciunas at number 10.
Wow. Okay, some respect for Valley.
Yeah. It's mainly just because, I saw him play 3 times last year, and he handled the Montes all 3 times.
He really did.
And I mean, just his kind of grit and grind that he goes with, he's always in the right spot for everybody. Obviously, moving to Washington, we'll see how that kind of affects his career.
He could have a big year.
He could have a big year.
He could average 20 this year, I think.
Yeah, he'll average a lot this year for sure. Yeah, no, I had to put him at number 10 for the respect right there. I want to say something about Miles. He was also kind of peaking close to my top 10 right there. He was kind of jumping off and like on and off my list. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I like the respect you showed to Valanciunas right there. Like you said, you definitely saw a lot of those Pelicans last year, so you know firsthand how good they were against Sacramento, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, Miles Turner, I just think he can really space the floor as a big man, and I think that's huge in today's NBA. I think he plays great with Tyrese Halliburton.
Definitely.
Out there. They have a great two-man game.
I wanted to see him take a bigger jump.
Yeah.
Because he kind of took a little step back with Pascal joining too as well. Obviously, that'll affect with Pascal being such a big power forward. Like, it'll kind of take some numbers down, but I feel like he should have taken like another big jump. Like, he's kind of deep in his career. A lot of people don't know. Like, he's kind of been in the league for a little bit.
He has, yeah.
But I like the top 10 for him.
Yeah. But with Valanciunas, like you said, he's such a big body out there. Also, he can space the floor a little bit. His shooting is kind of declined in the last few, but a few years ago, I remember he was like leading the NBA in 3-point percentage in the beginning of the year one time, and like he was hitting like 4 a game, which was kind of insane from a center and like how big he is. But yeah, I definitely can respect having him on there, and I think he's going to have a big year next year.
Oh, yeah.
But at number 9 for me was Chet Holmgren from the Oklahoma City Thunder. He only averaged 16.5 points a game last year on 8 rebounds, and another good rim protector. He also played in all 82 games last year, so pretty impressive from the young guy.
That was another person who didn't quite make my list.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I do think he will be, he will probably be sorry, my bad. He should be on the list, honestly.
No, yeah.
He probably should be on my list.
Especially in a few years like you were.
In a few years.
Yeah.
But I just haven't seen enough of him play, really. And then also just his size, really, I'm kind of nervous to see him kind of down low with all these big people who are close to like almost 80 pounds heavier than him. So when he's kind of this skinny down low, kind of the same with Wemby, but I don't know. I'll probably have to see him play this year, and I think he'll probably crack my top 6. I feel like
if he continues on the projection that he is after only 1 year in the league, he almost won Rookie of the Year. Also, he was like 3rd in the voting or 2nd.
3rd,
but he like you said, he's very thin framed. He might be moved to the 4 this year as they got Isaiah Hartenstein out there in OKC. So going to be interested to see if he's a power forward next year, if he's a center. But I think he had a very good year in Oklahoma City. And like Miles Turner, he can space the floor very well, which I obviously value a lot. Some of these guys I kept off the list were really hard to keep off, but they just don't space the floor. And that really matters in the playoffs. I think also on the defensive end, I think Chet can move his feet very well and guard, multiple positions. And he's a very good rim protector. So that's why I had him in my number 9. But yeah.
At my number 9, I feel like people are going to kind of be surprised. I don't know, either be mad or really surprised. Okay. I got Kristaps Porzingis at my number 9.
I'm not mad at that. He had a very good year.
Yeah, good year. Yeah. Obviously, behind Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, still averaging 20 points, only on 57 games. So, who knows if that would have gone up or down if he played a little bit more.
Yeah.
But on a team like that, like still averaging 20 points a game, still being able to figure out to put that kind of numbers up, it's pretty impressive. And then he's not like super quick, but he can still get up and down the court with some of these young guys, like with how old he is.
Yeah.
And then he can't really like space the floor too much, I feel like. Kind of went down a little bit. He used to be kind of able to shoot a little bit more, but I don't know. I feel like he would have been higher maybe 2 years ago.
Definitely.
I feel like Definitely. But it's still impressive what he's able to do with the ball.
Yeah, like you said, as a third option in Boston, still averaging 20 a game, and only played 57 games. But when he did play, that team looked unbeatable.
Yeah. We
saw that in the finals when he came out, and it was game 1 against Dallas in the first quarter. I remember he was hitting these, mid-range jumpers just because his height. He's 7'3", and he can shoot, like you said, so well. But he's just dominant in the mid-range, I think, still. But as a third option in Boston, winning their first championship, I think next year, if he plays more than 57 games, this team is going to be like even scarier.
Oh yeah,
because they're really good without him still. But adding that, so he was my number 8 to say that. So that's one of So you had him 9. I had Kristaps number 8.
Yeah, I feel like they'll probably be in, if he's healthy for the rest of the year or for the whole year. They'll probably be back in the Eastern Conference Finals, like easily.
Yeah, easily. But yeah, so he was my number 8. I wonder who you have at number 8.
I got Sengun at number 8.
Okay.
Yeah,
I like that.
It was harder. It was pretty hard for me not to put him higher. But with him being so young, I feel like he still has a lot to learn. Even though I just was watching his highlights for the past 2 days, and just looking at his IQ, he knows where everybody is on the court. He's probably one of the best passing centers in the league right now.
Yeah, he definitely
And he's
is.
only been in the league for 2 or 3 years now. And he averages
21 a game.
21, 9 rebounds, and 5 assists. That's on 63 games.
Solid numbers.
And he kind of came out of nowhere. I love people who come like this.
Yeah,
Just coming to the top of the league like that at a young age. I just wish he was on the Kings.
Yeah, I know. When he was drafted, actually, I really wanted the Kings to get him. I think that was before they got Sabonis.
Yeah.
I think they got Davion over him.
I think they got Davion.
Yeah, it was something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love Sengun's game. That's funny you have him at number 8 because I have him number 7.
Okay.
So I wonder who you have that's making this list a little like we could have a very similar list, but there's someone you have above. I guess we'll see. But so 21 a game, like we said, and he just reminds me so much of Sabonis, but just even flashier and like he can kind of do more with the ball. Like Sabonis is really good in the post, looking for guys, and so is Sengun. But Sengun also has a really nice handle.
Yeah,
also can shoot it.
He has some jelly for sure.
Yeah, he gets his teammates involved. When the Rockets decided to make him, the number 1 option, they really had a good year. They almost made the play-in game, and no one really expected that as such a young team. So yeah,
I don't want to call Sabonis an old man,
Yeah.
because he's not an old man, but NBA is starting to become a young man's game, with all this flashiness and everything, like just trying to fake someone out in a new way. And Sengun's really good at doing that, especially for a big man.
Yeah, he's really dominant, and when you put the ball in his hands, good things are going to happen. But I've seen a lot of, questions around his name in the NBA media space. Like, can Sengun really become a number 1 option on, like, a championship contending team? Like, like these guys like Embiid and Jokic, they're the main big man, and it's all running through them, and they're definitely championship contenders. Jokic already has one doing that. But, like, if he's going to be your best player, can that lead to, like, a championship-level team? And that's really been the question. I think he has that in him. I think he's a really dominant center. He can score from the inside, score from the outside.
Yeah.
He doesn't play the best defense, but it's not horrible.
I don't like those articles at all, those questions, because you don't need that in the NBA to win those kind of championships. You just saw it with the Boston Celtics. You had 3 people averaging like what he averages pretty much.
That's a good point.
So, I mean, those articles are pointless. You don't need one person to kind of take it all the way.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously, like, I feel like if he develops the right way, I feel like he kind of needs some sort of vet to kind of take him to the next step, because with the Rockets, there's not a whole lot of people on there that can kind of develop him a little bit more. But, I mean, if he does, then, I could see him becoming one of those stars.
Yeah.
But then again, I could also see any one of those people on the Rockets becoming one of those stars.
That's what I was going to say.
And then they could all, like, it kind of has a little bit of reminiscence of the OKC Thunder with James Harden, Russ, and KD. It's just like they all developed kind of together, like right at their young parts of their career, and became amazing players.
So you have high hopes for this Rockets team if they do have a ton of young guys, but and it really depends on who's going to develop to become like that main guy.
Exactly.
And if they want Sengun to be that guy, maybe it's Jalen Green. I don't think Jalen Green's really number 1.
Nah.
But
I see Jabari Smith becoming some sort of player like that.
Yeah, I think I like his game.
He's kind of lacked.
He's a role player.
He's been a role player.
A very good role player, though. Yeah.
He has kind of lacked recently. Like this last year, he kind of took a little bit of step back.
He took a step up on the defensive end, though.
Yeah.
Offensively, he did take a step back, but defensively, Jabari really, upped his game.
Yeah.
And also, I love Cam Whitmore.
Whitmore.
Houston.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, I definitely see Houston becoming, if they keep this kind of core going like this, picking up a vet possibly.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be a pretty good team over there.
Yeah, they also just got, I think, maybe the best or second best rookie in this draft class, Reed Shepherd.
I'm a big fan of Reed Shepherd.
And he doesn't even fit into the starting lineup yet.
No.
Like he might even be like the 8th guy off their bench right now, which is I want him to get some opportunity, man. I want him to become their starting point or starting 2. But in Houston, they have a ton of guys.
They have a lot of guards.
They also have Thompson that they got last year.
Thompson.
Who was a stud, yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, so Sengun was my number 7. You had him number 8, so I'm curious to see who's your 7.
This one might be a little bit of controversy. I got Rudy Gobert at number 7.
Wow, yeah, that is the guy I did not have on my list.
Yeah,
you have him as high as number 7, which I mean, it was really hard for me to keep him off. But
It wasn't. He was on my top 10.
Yeah.
It was just like I couldn't put him any higher than 7.
Yeah,
Defensive Player of the Year last year, and then
that's got to say something.
that's got to say something. And then he's an automatic 15 points and 12 rebounds a game.
I don't know about 15, but the 12 rebounds, he's probably around 8 to 12.
I don't know.
Automatic 8 to 12.
He averaged 15 last year.
Yeah, which is, good numbers. But
good numbers, but still.
I'm personally kind of a Rudy hater.
I
don't even want to say that, but I kind of am.
I was told I shouldn't say the word hate on the radio.
True that.
So I do not
love his game.
Like Rudy Gobert on the basketball court.
Yeah.
But I still respect his game.
Yeah.
Great defensive player. This fourth time he's won it.
4th defensive player of the year.
So probably a Hall of Famer, just off of that. And then he does make a difference on the court for sure.
He does.
Like just him and Cat down low. It's tough for people to score against that down low.
Yeah, the defense, I can't take anything away from that, especially in the regular season. Minnesota was one of the best defenses last year, and it kind of seems like whatever team Rudy's on, they're one of the top defenses in the league.
Exactly.
Even with how much hate he gets, but I think it's just based on the playoffs for Rudy. And that's why I didn't have him on my list. I was basing my list off who would I want to have on my team when it matters most.
Okay.
And guys like Chet are so young, and Miles Turner even.
Yeah.
Probably like Gobert has more. He's won 4 Defensive Player of the Year. So that's saying something. But Miles Turner and Chet Holmgren and even Kristaps, I just think they're more playable in the playoffs. Like we saw Rudy Gobert get exposed again last year. Luka hitting that game winner on him. I mean, it's kind of hard to say getting exposed because anyone might have got cooked by Luka.
Yeah, and then also, I mean, just that was a terrible rotation for that. Like, why do you have Rudy at the top of the key right there?
That's not his job.
That's not his job.
But yeah, that's just why I didn't have him on my list.
I understand.
Yeah, it was really.
I had a feeling you probably didn't. I was just like, he probably doesn't.
It was
but
more
then
for
at
the
the same time, yeah. But
Um,
then, I mean, I can't have off the court controversies affect the on the court game.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, him against he was my back and forth at number 10 just to have him on there to show some respect. But then I thought about it like, who's gonna play if they make the finals? If these teams make the finals, like Rudy Gobert, we saw it even in the Olympics. Actually, he didn't even start in the final game against USA. They started Wemby at the 5. And before that, they were starting Wemby at the 4 and then Gobert at the 5 with that huge lineup.
Minnesota did just pick up what's his name?
A big man?
No, the young guard they traded.
Oh, Rob Dillingham?
Yeah. So I mean, it might affect the team a little bit more.
Yeah.
It might help them get a little bit. I don't know.
No, you're right. Yeah. And then you can take Rudy off. You also always can play Cat at the 5.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a good point. I think Minnesota is
might
very
just
scary.
help the team a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry.
So no, you're good. So that was
6.
your 7?
Yeah.
Okay, my 6 is, this was really hard to put this guy this low. I love his game. I've always wanted the Kings to get this guy as well. It's Bam Adebayo.
We got Bam at the same spot.
So you have Bam 6. I'm happy you have him at 6.
Yeah.
This morning or last night, I had him in my number 5.
He was we had the same. He was at my 5. Yeah.
That's crazy.
I feel like we might have the same top 5.
Yeah. In the same order, though?
In the same order.
Okay, we'll see.
I hope so. I hope you have. I don't know.
You might have some bias, I think. But, Bam last year averaged 19 a game, 10 rebounds, 4 assists. He played in his 3rd All-Star game, also just won an Olympic gold medal for his 2nd time. Bam he's one of my favorite centers in the league, even though he's been dying to play the 4. He's only 6'9".
He's not that big for a center.
He's only 6'9", but he's just so strong, and he plays great defense. I think he's been snubbed of Defensive Player of the Year a couple times. He's always in the range of top 3, but then he never gets it. I don't think he's going to get it anytime soon, actually, because of the guy I have above him. I think this guy's going to win a ton of Defensive Player of the Years.
I hope so.
So, yeah.
I love Bam. Bam, I love his style of this play. And then right next to Jimmy, too. Like, I feel like that's one of the best duos to have, like, right now. They went back-to-back to NBA Finals, so that's kind of saying something. Yeah. Like, that's also kind of why it was so tough for me to drop him down to 6, is to have a center and a guard like Jimmy, like small forward, I guess, like Jimmy, go all the way to the finals back-to-back with the team that's kind of, like, full of some scrappy little people. Yeah. It's impressive to see that kind of happen in this kind of league with how many powerhouse teams there are to get that far.
Yeah, Bam, we saw in the Olympics, he actually was able to space the floor a little bit, hit a couple threes. His jump shot looked really good, and that's something the Heat have kind of not let him do his whole career. And I think at the end of last year, he started taking some more, and he started making some. I remember he hit a game-winning 3 against the Pistons, I think, last year for the Heat. Yep. But, and I think this year they're going to really let him play maybe the 4 a little more. They did just draft a center, Khalil Ware, who also can space the floor and is very athletic. So maybe those two on the floor at the same time might be a recipe for success.
That'll be entertaining to see.
Yeah, I think Miami needs Bam if they want to be, back in the finals or something like that. They need Bam to average at least 22 a game. I think his offense needs to take more of a jump, even though he's been so solid his whole career. Yeah, and he's one of the best defenders at the rim as well.
His verticals, he gets up quick for sure.
Yeah, definitely. He's so fast.
It makes up for his height difference down low.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to tell when he's guarding these centers that he's only 6'9" compared to 7'2" guys.
Yeah, he has smart hands. He can kind of get in low.
Yeah. So love Bam. We both have him at number 6. Yep. Number 5 is a guy that is super, super young. It is Victor Wembanyama is my number 5. Yours as well?
I'm buying into the Wemby love.
Yeah, I could have had him higher on this, honestly. Looking at his stats last year, pretty insane. He averaged 21 as a rookie, 10, almost 11 rebounds, 4 assists. Rookie of the year. He can just do it all out there, and he's really the future of the NBA.
It's insane watching what he can do on the court. Just how quick he is with his hands, like down,
he's so
maneuvering down low. He only has to jump like 1 inch, off the floor to kind of get up, and just he looks like a taller KD, taller, skinnier KD,
which is like an alien. Like it's like that's his brand is an alien.
Yep.
But his step backs are. Like, he's very good at creating his own shot on the perimeter, which is super impressive. We've never seen somebody at 7'4" be able to move like this.
He can't really get blocked unless he gets lazy.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And playing with Chris Paul next year for Wemby is going to be very good for his career. I think this will definitely be the lowest he'll ever be on any list, number 5. Yeah. And I think it's only up from here for him.
Definitely.
And that's the guy who I was hinting at who's going to probably win Defensive Player of the Year for years to come. He almost won it last year.
Yeah, he was as a rookie, though.
Yeah. I don't even know if a rookie has ever been close to winning Defensive Player of the Year.
I did in my 2K.
Yeah, maybe that counts, Luke Mitchell. But yeah, Wemby at number 5.
I got a lot of love and respect for Wemby. Yeah. Especially adding Chris Paul and Harrison Barnes over there, adding just a little bit more knowledge to the team just to have him develop a little bit more. Yeah. It's going to be awesome. And then also Stephon Castle adding to that.
Love him. Him and Reed Shepherd are my 2 guys coming in from this draft.
I kind of wanted Stephon on the Kings a little bit.
That was reaching because he was projected top 5.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah.
That would have been perfect. Though.
It would have been amazing.
Fit so well. I say star him. Oh, I don't know. Keon deserves that
Keon's
spot.
taking a step, so I love Keon.
Keon. But Wemby, if you don't know about him, he's 7'4". He can do it all. He can score from the inside. He can dribble the ball. He can guard all 5 positions.
Or 21.
21 years old. He's also a very intelligent person. Listen to a lot of interviews he's done, and he's one of the smartest rookies that have ever come into the league. That's what JJ Redick said when he went on his podcast. And he's so humble as well. Like, he's not out here, letting everyone know that he's going to be the next best player in the league.
Sorry, he's 20 years old.
He's only 20 years old.
Can't even drink a beer.
Yeah, he's the future, and I am very scared for San Antonio being in the West for years to come.
I hope
they're only 1 or 2 pieces away from real championship contention, which
I
is
hope
crazy.
Popovich wins one more ring before he retires.
Yeah, who knows when he'll stop, because Pop he doesn't look like he's trying to end anytime soon, especially getting a generational
die
talent
on the bench.
Yeah,
Pop is going to die. There's going to be one game, and Pop is just going to be laying on the bench, and they win.
He's going to be 95,
and he doesn't get up.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, damn.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
That was crazy. So yeah, that was our number 5. Wemby at number 5. San Antonio going to have a big year. So number 4, I think maybe we should wait for number 4. For the next half of the show. We're going to our break in about 1 minute. But some guys that we both obviously didn't have on our list, as we're at the top of our list now, are Jared Allen, who definitely had a big year last year. Got to throw his name out there. Derek Lively played very well for the Mavericks last year in the finals as well. Derek Lively was huge. And then we got like Brook Lopez getting up there in age.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't really have a chance making the list, in my opinion. Vucevic from the Bulls. A lot of Bulls fans are sick of his game.
He doesn't make an effect on any team.
Yeah,
he doesn't.
When he was on Orlando, he was so good. And then he went to Chicago, and it's just, I don't know, it's kind of been downhill. I don't know if it's his role there.
Joel Embiid didn't make my list. So.
Okay. Yeah, right. But yeah, also guys like Jalen Duren from Detroit. Love his game. He's a very athletic center. But yeah, we will go to our first break. This is 96.5 FM, Beam City Sports. Tyler Texera, Luke Mitchell. We'll be back in a couple minutes.
Hit that subscribe button, share, like. Thank you very much.
Yep. All right, we are back here on 96.5 FM. This is Beam City Sports. Tyler Texera and Luke Mitchell coming to you in Sacramento. What's up, Luke?
Nothing much, but Sacramento, we got the 24th annual world premiere of a place called Sacramento. It's a film festival here in Sacramento at Crest Theater. Going to be happening October 11th at 7 p.m. You can get your tickets at accesssacramento.org. Again, October 11th, Crest Theater, 7 p.m.
Yeah.
A place called Sacramento Film Festival.
Awesome. Yeah, and also if you're listening on YouTube right now, go hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button. Our subscribers are going up, views are going up, vibes are good. We're feeling great. Beam City Sports is only on the rise.
Beam City's a good place to be.
Yeah, join the community now. It's only going up. But we will jump back into our list. We got a lot to talk about on the second half of this show. So my number 4 is a guy we know and love. Domantas Sabonis was my number 4.
Disrespect.
I knew you would have him higher.
The disrespect.
So the guy you have at 4 it's crazy to have at 4 because he's so good. But I know your argument already.
Yeah,
the head-to-head matchup.
He's
probably
10-0.
10-0. So Sabonis last year, we got to go over his stats. He averaged almost 20 a game, led the league in rebounds at almost 14. Also led the Kings in assists and was top 10 in the league in assists at 8.2
led the league
a game.
In double-doubles, second in triple-doubles.
Only to Jokic. Man, he's so good.
Third All-NBA team.
Yeah, I am so happy that he is on our team. That is all I have to say about him.
And the number 3 center in the league.
He's so good, and I think next year he's going to have some things to prove still. That jump shot is still iffy.
Yeah.
Teams are going to let him shoot.
He needs to learn to lay up on the right hand. It's
True. It's a good point. I literally only see him go up with his left.
He only goes up to the left.
Yeah, but he's so good, man. He's really...
He's one of my favorite players to come to Sacramento.
Same, yeah. And I just love him off the court as well. He's such a good dude, family man, Nothing you can say bad about Sabonis unless you're a Warriors
loves
diehard.
Napa Valley.
Yeah.
Loves the wine from Napa Valley.
And he gets so much hate around the NBA.
Yeah.
Like, he deserves to be known as a star player. I'm happy you have him, actually, in your top 3.
Well, so, obviously I have all respect for Anthony Davis.
So he's your number 4.
He's my number 4.
Yep.
He played 76 games this year, which is kind of rare for him to happen in the last
Definitely rare.
5
That's
years.
the most games he's played in a long time.
So it is impressive to see. I mean, he did 25 points, 12 rebounds, and 4 assists pretty much.
Yeah. And he was an all-star, and
All-star.
Sabonis didn't make the all-star game.
Again, yeah.
And he made
Snub,
All-NBA.
All-NBA, and he wasn't an all-star.
So he was known as a top 15 player in the league because the All-NBA teams are not position-based anymore.
And
it's
it wasn't.
Just, yeah, and then he
like,
wasn't. But the All-Star game is the top 24.
We don't need to reopen this wound.
It's insane. That it's getting ridiculous.
It's obvious what's happening.
It's obvious.
But obviously playing with LeBron, his game gets elevated too.
80, yeah.
Like
80.
and then but yeah, again, I have DeMontis above him.
Yeah.
Because matchups. I mean, so I will say the first 4 matchups, DeMontis was on the Thunder.
Yeah.
And he didn't really play against them. But still, the last 6 matchups
He has
after
his number.
that, he has his number.
Yeah.
He's beat him 6-0.
Yeah.
So
he's 10-0 against Anthony Davis in his career.
10-0 in it, but I mean, yeah, the first times it was KD playing.
Yeah, but also the stats for Sabonis versus AD when they match up. Sabonis always wins in the box score. Yeah.
Anthony's stats always drop whenever.
Do.
Yeah,
I don't know.
He's scared of him, man.
He is.
He's scared of him.
He knows because Sabonis is really one of the toughest bigs in the league. You know, he's one of the strongest.
A lot of people don't look at him and be like, oh, he's super big, but then like. I mean, if you look at his chest and just how broad his shoulders are, dude's got some weight on him.
And he's just not afraid to put his weight on you.
Yeah.
And he's also just a bruiser
Except
down low.
Against Jonas. That's
Jonas. And then also a guy that has Sabonis number is Looney.
Yeah.
Kevon Looney still has Sabonis number.
That was just the playoff.
That was
the playoff.
Yeah, he made Sabonis look small, which I just I couldn't believe it.
It hurt.
But yeah, AD was my number 3, obviously. I had to put him above Sabonis just because of the star power, you know, averaging 25 a game.
Man,
I think
you're buying into the LA Hollywood.
I know. It was really hard for me to put him above. Like you said, he plays with LeBron.
That's disrespectful. As someone from Sacramento, too.
Also, the defense plays a big part for me. For Anthony Davis, he's still one of the best shot blockers in the league.
Can't play defense against Domas.
That's true. But Domas sometimes he just gets exposed defensively.
Yeah,
and
he does.
That's the only reason I put him lower. The offense is not a problem.
It does look like he gets a little lazy sometimes.
Yeah. So Sabonis, my number 4. AD was your number 4.
I got Domas at number 3.
You had Domas number 3. I had AD number 3. We can jump into the top 2.
I wonder if we have the same right here.
I think we do. My number 2 is Joel Embiid. I
have Joel Embiid at number 1.
Whoa.
I got Nikola at number 2.
That is crazy. So Embiid, I mean, it's hard to put him at number 2 when he's averaging numbers like this: 35 a game, 11 rebounds, 5.6 assists. He did only play in 39 of the games last year.
Yeah.
Which is not a lot. He also got hurt in the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's always the story with him, but if he didn't get hurt, he was on his way to win another MVP.
He would have won MVP.
He was the favorite when he got hurt.
Definitely.
He also was an all-star, obviously, in his 7th all-star game. But yeah, you had him at number 1. So Jokic was your number 2. Jokic was my number 1. Jokic, the stats on him were almost 27 a game, 12 rebounds, 9 assists, played in 79 of the games, and then he won his 3rd MVP. So that's the stats on Jokic right there.
I got Nikola too. Like, obviously, I had arguments to put him up above Embiid and Embiid to be at 2. But I do love my matchups. Yeah. And Embiid has not dominated Nikola, but
when they play
6-2 against Nikola
in their career.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy is that they've had so many games where one of them doesn't play. Like usually Embiid because he's always hurt. But it'll be the Nuggets and the Sixers on primetime TV. It's like the center matchup of the year, and then Embiid's hurt. Yeah. And then you don't get it.
I think that's only happened 2 times though. I was looking at it, and it's really just because the primetime game is that, and But it is a tough thing, but Embiid is just so dominant against them, and then I feel like if they came together in the playoffs, in the finals, obviously
that would be a great matchup.
I think the Sixers would win that.
Wow.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah.
Especially with this new team coming in.
Yeah.
And the Nuggets kind of looking like not a new team, but has like a little bit of a different identity, I guess.
Definitely. They've taken a step back
Yeah.
in their overall roster,
Yeah.
construction. Like, it's not as good as it used to be.
I say this whole season, if the matchups go to plan and they both play against each other,
Yeah.
Embiid is going to dominate this year.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I just think, for Jokic, it's more than just the scoring for him, averaging 9 assists a game last year. I think he makes his teammates better
He definitely does.
than anyone in the league.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree.
He's just the whole offense for them. Give him the ball, and you're going to get a good shot. If you don't double team him, he's going to post you up.
That's
he's going to
true.
go to the rim. If you do double him, he's always going to make the right pass.
Yeah.
And he might be the best passer in the NBA right now, maybe behind LeBron. But, he is so good, and that's just why I had him number 1. Embiid definitely is a better scorer, maybe more dominant. He can shoot better, too. I think Embiid is more of
Can
a...
spread the floor, I feel like, a little bit more. I mean, I will say
Jokic can still shoot.
can just throw that stupid...
one-legged, fade
just
away.
anywhere.
Yeah.
Play the best defense of your life. And
It doesn't matter. Jokic is going to get it up there. He does that against the Lakers a lot. He always hits those crazy
hey, that's
shots.
fine. I'm fine with him doing that
happy when
against
he
the
does
Lakers.
that. Yeah. All right. Well, that was our top 10 list. We got a lot of other things to jump into on this episode. So I'll go over my list real quick from 10 to 1, and then you give me yours. So number 10, I had Miles Turner. Number 9, I had Chet Holmgren. Number 8 was Kristaps Porzingis. 7 was Alperen Sengun. 6 was Bam Adebayo. 5 was Victor Wembanyama. 4 was Domantas Sabonis. 3, Anthony Davis. 2, Joel Embiid. And 1 was Nikola Jokic. And what was your top 10 center list?
I got 10, Jonas Valanciunas. 9, I got Porzingis. 8, I got Sengun. 7, I got Rudy Gobert. 6, I got Bam Adebayo. 5, I got Victor Wembanyama. 4, I got Anthony Davis. 3, I got Domantas Sabonis. 2, Nikola Jokic. And 1, I got Joel Embiid.
That was our top 10 list. Please go subscribe if you're listening on YouTube. And if you're listening live on the radio, thanks again for tuning in. Love having you guys listen to us every Wednesday from 1 to 2. Let's jump into the rest of our show. So we got some big Kings news this morning, some Sacramento Kings news. It's not official yet that it's been signed, but Jae Crowder has officially come to Sacramento to work out with the Kings. I would honestly love the pickup as a
That'd be great.
veteran wing off the bench. Maybe show Keegan a little bit of things.
Has a little bit more size. And,
he's tough.
He's big down low.
Yeah.
So
So-
I love Jae Crowder.
Yeah.
He's also somebody that I would play with on 2K quite a bit.
He can shoot it.
He can shoot the
He
ball.
can shoot.
Yep. So that adds another kind of catch and shoot parameter kind of thing to
And-
it's kind of unstoppable. I feel like when
he's always on a really good team, and if he comes to Sacramento and he signs that contract, I think that shows a lot.
Yeah.
For we've already seen it with DeRozan picking going to the Kings over Miami, Los Angeles, other teams like even Denver. I think was in the running for him, and he picked Sacramento because he wanted to win. And
he saw
never
our
heard
culture.
that.
He wanted to light the beam. That's what he said recently.
did.
He was on a Paul George's podcast recently, and he said he was just like something about lighting that damn beam.
Yeah.
Like you want to be a part of that culture. You want to be a part of that, like just the whole winning experience over there.
Yeah, it's awesome. And maybe Jae Crowder's thinking the same thing. He's always ring chasing in his career. So for him to, be working out with the Kings and maybe sign that contract as a ring chasing, like old vet.
Jae Crowder ring chasing in Sacramento.
Yeah.
I love that.
Ring chasing in Sacramento. That just sounds good to me, But yeah, I think he would fit well. I wonder if they would have to, get rid of anyone. Or if they still have an open spot.
No, we have an open spot.
One open spot?
Yeah, we have one open spot for I think we have $15 million in cap space.
So yeah, they'd probably sign him to a minimum, which would be very nice to have him just on the roster.
Yep.
Especially if injuries happen, he can always step into that starting lineup if you need a solid 4.
I'm fairly confident we have an open spot.
Yeah. Okay. Jae Crowder coming to the Kings. Hopefully, that would be awesome. And
that'd be pretty tight.
Yeah. So the next part of our show is going over the NFL. Week 1. We've seen a lot happen in Week 1. It was an exciting week.
Very exciting.
We got a lot of Niners fans here in Sac, so I think we got to start out with that game. The Niners versus the Jets. Kind of a blowout. Yeah. No Christian McCaffrey.
Nope.
Jordan Mason stepped up big time.
Up, especially in fantasy. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
That was a good game. That was fun to watch. I mean, I kind of wanted Aaron Rodgers to do a little bit better.
Yeah.
It's kind of the end of an era for he's like the last one for that kind of generation of QBs. Him and Stafford, I guess. But that was a good game. It It's exciting to see football back. I feel like this season is going to be a really good season.
Yeah.
I don't
A
know,
lot of
like,
controversy and a lot of, drama
Yeah.
kind of with who's going to win.
Exactly.
But yeah, so the final score to that one was the Niners won 32-19. That was in Santa Clara. The crowd was jumping. Brock Purdy looked pretty decent out there.
Yeah, he looked pretty good.
Can't ask for much more.
I heard some people are arguing about him being like a top 5 QB right now.
Wow.
It's like, nah, I'm not quite yet.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's more what he has around him, I think.
Exactly.
But, maybe he can
Obviously,
keep
it's
taking
only his
jumps.
second year. Second year in the league.
Hard
so
to tell.
if he can take a jump, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's kind of tough because CMC might be out, or McCaffrey for those people who don't know. He might be out. He'll probably be out next week.
Yeah.
Against the Vikings.
That'll be a good game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like the Niners are going to kind of dominate that.
I thought so too. I've talked to a lot of people, and they think the Vikings are really good. They dominated their Week 1 matchup, and the game is also in Minnesota, so that does play a part.
We'll see.
I still think the Niners will come out on top.
I feel like the Niners will. Their defense is pretty one of the best in the leagues, if not the best.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that kind of sucks about Christian McCaffrey. He has a Achilles tendonitis, I think. That's what I heard.
Yeah. So when he comes back, though, do you think it's possible that they play, both those guys on the field at the same time? If Mason continues to, provide the stats that he's been providing?
They might have Mason kind of take a little bit more of a passing role in the back, kind of play out like to the right and like turn left and just
screen passes and
stuff like that. Or just like a extra option if Purdy doesn't have anything deep.
Yeah.
But if McCaffrey comes back healthy, he's still the clear cut. He's definitely, for sure.
Yeah, no, I know.
Clear cut.
I was saying if they are on the field at the same time, maybe run both those guys out there.
Yeah, if there's the option, for sure. Yeah, run an option play for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was the Niners game.
He's definitely shown he's proved that he can be on the field.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Another exciting game that we saw in Week 1 was the Chiefs versus the Ravens. That was actually the first game.
Yeah, first game
on Thursday. It was a down to the wire game. The Chiefs ended up winning 27-20. Crazy stuff at the end.
Isaiah
Lamar,
Likely's
foot was barely out of bounds.
His toe, man.
Was that at the end of the clock too?
That was the end of the clock.
Yeah.
That was like the last play.
Yeah. Lamar throws a dot, and he's in the end zone open. He makes the catch, and one of his toes are barely on the line, out of bounds.
Mm-hmm.
Would have tied it up with a field goal. So that was crazy.
Win.
Ravens looked really good, though. I think I've heard a lot of talking good about them. Also, the Chiefs looked, like the Chiefs. Travis Kelce didn't have a big game, but they still played very well.
I don't think they are playing like the championship Chiefs that they were.
Yeah.
They're a little bit weaker and not as strong.
Mm-hmm.
Ravens, I feel like, are kind of going to be one of the powerhouse teams of the year. I think they're one of the favorites to win the league for sure.
Yeah.
But no, that was a great game.
That
was a great game for sure.
If they played in a 7-game series, I've heard this debate on social media, who would win, the Chiefs or the Ravens? Because, football's only the 1-game thing. But if these two teams played in a 7-game series, we'd really see who the better team is.
7-game series.
Yeah, who would win? Because a lot of people said the Ravens would win in a 7-game series after seeing how weak the Chiefs looked, like you said.
Yeah, probably the Ravens.
Yeah, their wide receiver core just isn't the same. Travis Kelce didn't look great. But yeah. So that was the Chiefs and Ravens. Another game I want to jump into, as we have 10 minutes left on this show, is the Bears and the Titans. That was one of my favorite games to see. I really want the Bears to do good, man. I really do. I think they have a good team. Their rookie quarterback, Caleb Williams, didn't have a good game.
Didn't do too hot.
They were down 17-0, but they ended up coming back with their feisty defense.
And Caleb Williams threw 98 yards and 0 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And still won 27 to what? Or 24-17.
Yeah, 24-17.
So their special teams scored a touchdown, and their defense scored a touchdown.
Yeah.
And then I think their kicker scored every other, or there was a punt return or something like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, kind of nuts for that to be a win right there.
I know. I really hope Caleb Williams,
I want to see him do
really good quarterback.
I want to see him do good.
Yeah. And they got Keenan Allen, which is, he's going to be really good this year, I think.
Got to talk about the Saints and Panthers game.
Yeah, bring that one up. Bring that up.
Won a 47-10.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously they're playing the Panthers, but they were looking unstoppable. Derek Carr with 3 touchdowns.
Derek Carr, I saw him throwing really deep, and that was.
I know Raider fans are hurting right now.
Yeah.
Seeing that happen and seeing their situation, what's going on over there.
Definitely. So Yeah, the Saints look dominant, like
Ooh,
you
that
said.
nation.
That's your team over there.
Who are the Raiders? Who are the Raiders?
So the Dolphins played the Jaguars, which was a very interesting game. Some crazy stuff happened before the game. Tyreek Hill getting, put in handcuffs.
He got detained for a little bit before.
Then he ended up playing. He still went off in the game.
Had a little celebration at the end, a little handcuff celebration. That was pretty awesome to see. I love seeing that.
That was. But I'm still happy he played. The video of that was pretty insane to see what transpired.
Just
in that
a traffic
situation.
violation. Yeah. And I don't know. The video was... the video was pretty nuts.
Yeah.
I need to do a little bit more research on that for sure, see exactly what happened.
Because, it was crazy to see what they were doing to him. But yeah, so Tyreek went off. Dolphins still win. The Raiders and Chargers game, I watched a lot of that one. The Raiders looked good to start off. It was like 10-10, and then the Chargers went on a huge run. It was J.K. Dobbins started going crazy, the running back.
It's crazy that J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards both went over to the Chargers, and now they're both like the running back. But J.K., after he got hurt a couple years ago, like, I was kind of nervous. He was on my fantasy team, and seeing him get hurt, I was like, God damn, but now he's back and he's looking good. Yeah,
and the Raiders quarterback, Gardner Minshew, didn't look great. Hopefully he takes a step up next week. Yeah. There was a few plays where he went to throw to someone wide open, and the ball just completely slipped out of his hands. It was a fumble that the other team got it. But yeah, it was tough to see him out there. I hope he steps up.
Yeah.
And two more exciting games we saw were the Bills and the Cardinals. That was a good one.
That game was insane. Yeah. It looked like the Cardinals were going to have, they had that in the bag. Yeah. But, they did have it in the bag the whole time. And then Josh Allen exploded.
Took it into his own hands.
Yep. Started 2 passing touchdowns, 2 running touchdowns. Yeah.
Is he the best quarterback in the league right now, or is it Patty? It's tough to say because, Patty's so good in the playoffs, but...
I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's definitely those two.
Derek Carr.
Okay. Derek Carr.
I'll throw Jalen Hurts in that conversation too.
He's really good. Yeah.
But fantasy-wise, Jalen Hurts probably.
Okay.
A lot of people picked him, and certainly picked him in the top, in the second round or third round.
Yeah.
Over Patty and over Jalen Hurts and people like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it's a toss-up. I feel like now in this NFL, every week it's a new, better quarterback. Yeah,
you
can't really put the label on that.
That's a good point. And, we also saw the Eagles and the Packers. That was a big one. Saquon went off in that one. But, yeah, Eagles won 34-29. That went down to the wire. Yeah. It was fun to see.
That was the Brazil game.
That was the Brazil game.
A lot of people, I got that wrong on the...
No, it's okay.
But, a lot of people had a little problem with that, just with the field and everything, saying that it isn't football ready, I kind of agree it didn't look football ready. A lot of people are calling let's not have this happen at a soccer field, or let's have it at a field that's meant to be played on.
Yeah, that's a good point. But I think the Eagles are really good. I think they're definitely championship contenders this year for sure.
Yeah,
I think they're back.
Adding Saquon on there. I know a lot of Giants fans are pretty pissed about that. But no, that's definitely another team that's they have so many options to use.
So many.
And then their defense is also kind of
one of the best.
One of the best in the league.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. So that was some NFL updates. Next week, like we said, the Niners are playing the Vikings, and then we'll have a lot of other good games coming up. Bills and Dolphins tomorrow. That's the Thursday night game. That'll be really fun to see. Josh Allen versus, Tua and Tyreek.
And then we got a primetime Saints versus Cowboys on Sunday.
Okay.
That's a primetime game.
That's a big game.
Oh, yeah.
10 a.m. on Sunday.
Hopefully the Saints can keep that hot hand going.
Yeah. That would be cool. So, the last part of our show, we are going to talk some MLB baseball updates. And before we get into, scores around the league and what's happening this year, we got to reminisce a little bit on our team. The Oakland A's hit 2 walk-offs in the past week. And that was their walk-off number 484 in their Oakland history, and that is the most in the majors since the Coliseum opened back in 1968.
That's insane.
So the A's have the most walk-offs in the majors since 1968.
I love that.
Yeah.
We've
definitely been to a few.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
A very memorable one, too.
Yeah.
We've been to a few walk-offs for sure.
Yeah. The A's in 2012 through 2014 were just I felt like every other night they were having a crazy magical game, coming back in the 9th, walking it off.
Coco Chris, Jonas
Coco Chris,
Cespedes, Josh Donaldson.
Man, those guys were just so clutch. Even Brandon Moss.
Josh Reddick, Brandon Moss.
Yeah, love those guys. But yeah, what was some memorable walk-offs for you?
Bringing up Brandon Moss.
Yeah.
There was one, I think it was in 2013.
Yeah.
They're playing the Angels and went to 19 innings.
I remember that.
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember staying up for the game because I was in middle school, I think. Yeah, going into middle school.
We were diehard A's fans. We were watching
fans.
every game, every second.
And
I stayed up for that one too. I remember.
I think it was like 8. Like they went to in the 15th inning.
Yeah.
Both hit a solo home run.
Mm-hmm.
Thought it was over for the A's.
Yeah.
I was like, no.
And then
continued to the 19th inning. And then Brandon Moss comes up with a runner on, smacks a home run to right field.
That was magical.
It was,
Yeah. And some other walk-offs that came to mind for me, you know, of course, we got to bring up the playoff ones. 2012, it was Coco Crisp hit a single. That was Game 4 of the ALDS when they were down 2-1
against the Tigers.
The Tigers, both years were against the Tigers, of course. But yeah, they were down in the 9th. I remember Seth Smith. Clutched up, hit a like single to tie it. Donaldson came up, ripped a double off the wall, and then Coco hit a walk-off single. Then, of course, it went to Game 5, and Verlander shut him down, as always.
Of course.
But, yeah, so that was 2012. And then also 2013, we saw a very similar thing. This was Game 2 of the ALDS against the Tigers again. Stephen Vogt hit a walk-off, and that was it was a scoreless game, I think, or it was maybe 1-1 at the time. Sonny Gray pitched almost a complete game that game.
Sonny Gray.
I think he might have been a rookie that year, too. In Game 2 of the ALDS, he pitched a complete game, and then it was against Verlander. So, of course, they were going neck and neck. Verlander wasn't letting anything happen. Sonny was going, I think he went at least into the 8th. And then Stephen Vogt came up in the 9th. They took Verlander out, luckily, because, you know, the A's couldn't score a damn thing against Verlander back then. And Stephen Vogt hit a single to walk it off. So that was definitely something I remember.
There was one we were at.
Yeah, that one was probably my favorite.
We went to an Orioles game. It was middle of the season, something like that. It was me, you, and your dad.
Yeah.
And we were down going into the bottom of the 9th.
Always.
It was a 5-3, something like that. And I think Cespedes hits a single, and then I forgot who else hit a little dribbler, so we had to run on third and first. Donaldson comes up, and right before Donaldson's at bat, you lean over to me, and you're just like, Donaldson walk-off home run, bomb, center field. You called it. I
called
swear,
it word for word?
You called it word for word. You said, walk-off bomb, center field right here. And then I think it was the first pitch or second pitch. Smacked it, and I mean, my voice was gone the next day. I was screaming the whole night.
God, that was.
And your dad before the inning was just like, "You guys want to get out of here? Like, do you want to?" And we're like, "No, we're staying.
This is the best time of the night. They're gonna." Yeah, man, that was an awesome game, and you know we've seen so much of that in the Oakland history. So really awesome that they've had the most walk-offs in the majors, and you know they've given us big A's fans as kids so many great memories, and just looking back at those honestly give me chills, like looking back at some of those walk-offs, comeback wins back then, and I really hope that they get back on that when they come to SAC. I think SAC crowd's going to be jumping.
Yeah, it's really putting a cherry on top of everything in Oakland. Them being like one of the best teams in the league right now too. Closing out the year
since the All-Star break, and Brent Rooker is. If he was on a good team, he'd be an MVP consideration. And
Lawrence Butler is tearing it up right now. J.J. Bleday is kind of making a name for himself.
Yeah.
We got Jacob Wilson coming up.
The pitchers are scared to come to SAC, though. That's what somebody told me at ESPN.
Yeah.
All the
pitchers. Small, hot field, so people are going to bomb.
It's going to be tough to pitch here in SAC. But this will close out another week of Beam City Sports. This was our 11th week in a row doing the show. Magic 11. And this is Tyler Texera. Luke Mitchell. We're signing off. Go hit that subscribe button. Go like and share. Thank you guys for watching and listening.